Where has that team been all season?
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
There, what's up? It's Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. Welcome to the new year, Tar Heels. Thank goodness you decided to show up. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast. It's the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Shade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Special shout out to you everydayers joining us, all the Locked On Tar Heels Discord members, and of course our great insiders as well. This live reaction postcast is brought to you by Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. You guys, yes, that's what we're talking about. That's the team we've expected to see. Thank goodness for it. The Tar Heels are now, finished this game 82-67 win. Kind of fluctuated back and forth. The lead got up to as much as, what was it, 28? 25 was the largest lead. Literally never trailed. A wire-to-wire win for the Tar Heels, and boy, oh boy, does that feel good. Carolina on the season is now 10-6, 3-1 in ACC play, and that's where we're at. Okay, here's where we go on these live reaction postcasts. Got just several big picture right out of the gate takeaways. We'll get into some nitty gritty as well. We'll have a couple ad reads. I know so many of you great friends are coming in and joining us. So many great Locked On Tar Heels community members. And so we'll get to your comments and questions and observations later in the show as well. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And let's dive right into it with this. That was North Carolina's most complete game of the season. It was a phenomenally strong 30 minutes. And then just kind of a, final 10 minutes because the lead had grown so strong. I think Coach Davis was trying to lengthen possessions and not give SMU possessions because they're a quick strike offense, number one scoring offense in the ACC, 19th scoring offense in the entire nation. So I understand it a little bit, but I thought Carolina did take their foot off the gas a little too early. That's one of my few quibbles with this entire game. But here is where it all started. Defense. This is the defense that I have been looking for all season long. This is the team, I feel like the team we saw at Memphis in the preseason exhibition game, that was more like what this team was. They finished the game with 8 steals. They finished the game with 7 blocks. They finished the game holding SMU for the most part to one of their worst offensive performances of the entire season. Just the third time they've scored under 70 points this season. All sorts of stuff like that was great. And in fact, we'll get in just a little bit to some of those numbers here. But the deal was the first half was man, that was so wildly impressive, even more so than the Notre Dame game on Saturday. But the question, because of what happened Saturday against Notre Dame, is, all right, can you maintain this for a full 40 minutes? Can you maintain this for the second half? Can you make it a complete basketball game? And the answer, right out of the gate of the second half, a little bit of trepidation there. SMU gets the first 4 buckets. There was a turnover. They were out to a 6-2 lead to start things. And then Carolina went on their run, got out to the biggest lead of the game. And that was that. And they kept edging it out and edging it out and edging it out until they were just kind of in slowdown mode. And then SMU started chipping back, ultimately a 15-point margin, the same as it was at halftime. Speaking of which, let's start looking at some of those halftime numbers. Carolina leads at the half 39-24. And if you watched today's show that included our preview, there were several things that I was paying attention to in this game that worried me greatly. I was pretty concerned about this game. I don't know if you could tell that or not, but SMU comes in, number 1 scoring offense in the nation, not in the nation, in the ACC, Carolina number 2 in the ACC. The difference was SMU's scoring offense is not terrible, but Carolina is 337th in the nation and 17th out of 18 teams in the ACC. So that was a potential bugaboo. Well, instead, Carolina holds SMU to 24 points in the first half. That was their lowest point total for any half in any game this season. Their previous low was 27. And Carolina, the 337th best scoring defense in the nation just did that to them, because this is the team that they need to be, locked in and loaded. And oh yeah, it's no coincidence that some dude with the number 7 on his jersey was back in this game. Another of the 4 things that I was very concerned about coming in, the second thing was 3-point shooting. Carolina, not very good. SMU, very good. Coming into the game, let me see if I can look back at it. Coming into the game, SMU was shooting 38% as a team from 3. That was 33rd nationally. Conversely, Carolina was shooting 31.4%. That's 288th nationally. So what happens in this game? Well, North Carolina comes out, and in the first half, they go 7 of 12 from 3, while SMU is just 2 of 11 for the game. Same kind of thing. Carolina for the game, 11 of 22 from 3. That's exactly 50% if you're not that great at math. Meanwhile, SMU is 4 of 18. Sure, some of that is SMU, but you got to credit North Carolina for that. Another thing that we were watching is SMU was a phenomenal offensive rebounding team, right up there in the same breath as Florida. And the offensive rebounding in particular is where they shine, one of the top 20 teams in the nation in that regard. Well, at halftime, Carolina led in total rebounds and offensive rebounds. For the game, SMU ended up clipping Carolina 41-39. But the thing was, Carolina just needed to keep it close, and they did. And yes, the offensive rebounds flipped by the time the game was over. 7 for Carolina, 15 for SMU. But it ultimately didn't matter because of the work Carolina had done in the first half. The other thing, scoring, rebounding, 3-point shooting, and then the free throw line, where, again, both these teams were very similar, but Carolina had a better percentage on the season. Free throw line, SMU goes 17 of 21 for the game. Carolina goes 17 of 24. So basically, moot point there, and it's the 3-point line that ends up basically winning it for the Tar Heels. I love it when season established norms go awry, and it happens again. It's facilitated because of North Carolina's defense and what they did in this game to hold SMU. Again, the ACC's number 1 scoring offense, under 1 point per possession. Give me that. And so now here's your problem, North Carolina. Now that I've seen it, and now what I know you can do on defense, I'm going to expect that from you game after game after game after game. So sorry, you can't let up now, because you've proven to us all that you're capable of it. By the way, in that first half, Drake Powell leads the way for North Carolina with 14 points. He had made 3 threes in the first half, reining them in. He had made that one near the end of the Notre Dame game, so that was really encouraging. He started his scoring with this great acrobatic finish in the lane and did hit a 4th 3 in the second half, which tied his career high. He had one other game this season when he hit 4 threes. But great for Drake to be the one to lead out in the first half, where Ian was only scoring 3 points. And honestly, I was kind of encouraged by that, because Carolina has had to lean on Ian Jackson. And so the fact that we get to halftime, Ian's only got 3 points and Carolina's leading by 15. Yes, thank you for that. So Drake Powell leading the way there in that first half, really, really encouraging. But here's what else is cool about Ian Jackson. While he only had 3 points at halftime, you know what he had done? He was Carolina's leading rebounder at the break. 5 rebounds for Ian Jackson. That shows me maturity and growth of a young man who so many people, myself included, talked about as like, yes, the scoring is there. We trust it. We see it. Can he do the other things that a team needs him to do? And he did in this game. In total, as we zoom back out to the whole game, unfortunately, Ian just missed getting his 5th straight 20-point game. He hit that late 3 that gave him 18. So he was 2 points shy of his 5th straight 20-point game. Still very, very impressive. And man, we had a scary moment, poor Ian, where he drives into the lane and gets that 7'2" Summit. Good grief. What's his last name? It's not coming to me. Summit. You get a glue. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but he's from Istanbul, Turkey, 7'2" freshman. And just, he's so big, he kind of drapes himself over Ian. Ian falls to the ground. And I got to tell you, that was a very scary moment. I tweeted this out and put it on Blue Sky and Threads and everywhere else. But if you watch the replay of Ian going down, his left leg is planted, and I was I was like an ACL waiting to happen. But as you watch the replay that I posted, you can see how ever so slightly, instead of sticking, his left foot hops a little bit, and that allows him to fall more capably, allowing the knee mechanism to do what it needs to do instead of an ACL. Thank goodness for that. But here's what I love so hard about Ian Jackson. Did you see what he did on the very next play? First off, goes and makes the free throws, and literally Carolina's next possession, he attacks again at Yagidoglu, gets his fourth foul. Great, man. I love his relentless pursuit of getting to the rim. That's what Carolina needs, and I think why we've started to see Carolina get some traction in the first half with Ian Jackson starting now. And again, that's going to continue to be part of the conversation. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But again, very critical for North Carolina to have that from Ian Jackson getting to the rim. By the way, let's look at free throws. I'm on SMU's, forgive me. 9 free throw attempts for RJ, 6 for Ian Jackson. That's great. Love both of those guys getting to the lane a ton. Very, very encouraging. All right, we got a lot more to get to, including RJ Davis's crazy game, crazy shot, and crazy shot he took to the face. We're going to talk about a little bit more of what Carolina did in the first half, doing something they had literally not done all season long. No points for Jay Wash, but he did something that's kind of crazy over the course of the past 2 games. We'll get to all of that and more coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about Game Time. Look, you guys, here's the deal. Attending the new 12-team college football playoff is an incredible experience. It brings fans together like never before. We're going to get the semifinals coming up really, really soon here. But here's what I want you all to do right now. You know where Carolina's next game is? It's in Raleigh at NC State on Saturday. I want everybody to go buy up as many tickets as you can on Game Time. I haven't looked how many are available or what the prices are, but I can guarantee you there's going to be some tickets to get, man. Go snatch those things up on Game Time, and let's make that dumb red building super Carolina blue, right? Let's make that happen. Okay. Well, the good news is when you go get those tickets, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting in tickets for those events like Carolina at NC State even easier. It filters out the fluff to just show you the best tickets at the best prices. Recently, I used Game Time myself to buy tickets for my family to go see Dude Perfect later this summer. My kids are all in on it. My son is like filming himself doing all these trick shot videos. I love it. And he's ate up with it. So we're going to go see him, and we use Game Time to get our tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Terms do apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Okay, let's get right back into this thing. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the box score for those who are watching here in real time. Again, great to be back with you after Carolina's 82-67 victory over SMU, most complete game of the season. Part of that is because RJ Davis had himself a bit of a game. It was interesting because struggled a bit out of the gate, just continuing to miss some of those mid-range shots that he is known for making. In the first half was 3 of 7. He did hit both 3-pointers that he took, but was just 2 of 4 at the free throw line. And I was just like, some good scoring from RJ, second leading scorer there to Drake Powell, but kind of need some more. And then in the second half, my man turns it on. 16 points in the second half alone, 5 of 8 from the field, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, 1 of 4 from 3. Had a couple misses, but let's talk about that 1-3. And let me give you his total for the game. 26 points, 8 of 15 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 7 of 9 from the line, 5 boards, 4 assists against just 1 turnover and 2 steals. That again is why even when RJ Davis this year is not shooting at the same level as he traditionally does, which he did tonight, even with that crazy brace on his arm, wonder if that's affecting him at all. I think maybe it is. But he's doing all these other things to help the team win. This assist to turnover ratio continues to go up. Getting steals. He was tied for the team lead along with Ian Jackson in steals. 7 of 9 at the free throw line. 5 rebounds. That's second leading rebounder on the team. I'm telling you, man, RJ Davis is doing so much. But the moments I want to talk about with RJ from this game, that end of shot clock 3 that he made, Carolina has a slob sideline inbounds play, about 3 seconds left. And, just over 2 minutes to go. And Yagidoglu, the guy we've been talking about, the 7'2" freshman, comes out to guard him, and RJ kind of has to go up over his head, kind of like a kid does before they're strong enough to shoot, and just lofts it up over him. Bank is open at whatever o'clock at night, and it goes in. Barely got it off in time, tenths of a second left. Crazy, crazy shot. If you didn't get to see it, I posted it on social media. You can go check it out. Got to be on us on SportsCenter and other things like that tonight. But then, unfortunately, right after that, on the other end of the court, RJ is guarding. He actually commits a foul. Who was it? Matt Cross, I believe it was, who was one of their 3 players in double digits tonight for SMU. And then they just kind of bonk heads. It gets RJ. He immediately falls to the baseline, and you start to see the blood, forgive me if you're queasy, splattering out of his nose or wherever it was coming from. And with just 2 minutes left in the game, of course, he goes ahead and heads off. But the big question is, as I just said in our game time read, got Raleigh, NC State coming up on Saturday. Really hope that it's nothing more than just they bonked heads, got him a nosebleed, and so they just went to the locker room. We'll find out more in the days to come, hopefully, but we'll see about RJ's availability. Thankfully, Seth Trimble is right back as that happens. Speaking of Seth Trimble, let's talk about the starting lineup. There was much made about who would be in the starting lineup. I myself was curious. In fact, I did most of today's show about it and what I thought Carolina should do. I was not surprised, though, to not see Seth Trimble in the starting lineup. Why? Because you got to work him back in, right? Like anytime a player is coming back, a lot of time you have a minutes restriction or something like that. It's funny, though, Seth ends up playing 26 minutes in the game, which is a very encouraging sign. Oh, by the way, for the Tar Heels. But for Seth, 0 points in the game, interestingly enough. What was the rest of his stat line? Only took 3 shots, 1 3, 1 free throw, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover. That's helpful, right? Like that's the kind of stuff you need when he's coming back. But the thing, Seth doesn't start. Carolina rolls with the same starting lineup they've been utilizing lately. Elliott, RJ, Ian, Drake, and Jalen Washington. And that's, again, not shocking. Now, what's going to be interesting to watch is what does Carolina do Saturday at NC State? Is Seth ready to go? And if so, is he inserted into the starting lineup? And if so, also in favor of whom? Who is it that then would be coming off the bench? And when you look at the minutes from this game, most minutes played, Drake Powell, how about that? 35. Then Ian Jackson, 34, followed by RJ Davis, 32. Seth Trimble, 26. And then fifth leading minutes getter, Van Allen Lubin with 22, because you know what? He was putting up 7 points, had some strong moves in the lane, steal, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover. That's great. Elliott Cadeau, just 19 minutes. And here's Elliott. What a start to this game, right? Hits that 3. So basically, Carolina's last 2 offensive plays have been Elliott Cadeau's 3s from end of Notre Dame to beginning of this one. Then has a steal on SMU's first possession, goes down and lays it up. He's got 5 points in a steal in the first however many seconds. But then before the first TV timeout, Elliott's already committed 2 fouls. And so he only scores 2 more points the rest of the game. And unfortunately, while RJ had a 4 assist to 1 turnover ratio, Elliott was literally the inverse, 1 assist to 4 turnovers. I mean, it feels like it's game to game flip-flopping back and forth for Elliott, and he's got to be consistent. Thankfully, in this game, Carolina did so much other good stuff that that's kind of buried and you don't see it. But Carolina needs him to play more than 19 minutes in the game, and part of that is him having foul trouble and the turnovers. And if you go back and look at the 4 turnovers, at least 2, if not 3 of them were silly and unnecessary turnovers from Elliott. It's got to be better. It's funny, you look at Jalen Washington's box score, 0 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover. See, so many guys, 3 is like positive assist to turnover ratio. That's really encouraging. But the funny thing to me about what Jalen Washington is doing right now is this. In the first 14 games of the season, so everything running up through the Louisville game, Jalen Washington had 9 blocks. And then against Notre Dame on Saturday, he had 5. And then in the first half of this game, he had 3 and 1 more in the second half, meaning in the first 14 games of the season, Jalen Washington, 9 blocks. In the last 2 games of the season, Jalen Washington, 9 blocks. Is this a statistical aberration with a small sample size in 2 games? Or is this the continued progression of Jalen Washington that we've seen now, even dating back to that unfortunate loss at Louisville, which, by the way, Louisville beat Clemson tonight. I think that's good for Carolina. Louisville proving that they've got something going on. Obviously you wish you had beaten them, but that's good news for Carolina that they keep winning. But Jay Wash, just keep watching it because yes, he did not score, but I thought this was one of the toughest he fought in an entire game. Again, it goes back to the defense. Carolina was scrappy. They were doing the things they need to do. And some of that, or a lot of that, is the defense on the interior has to be better. And so while Jay Wash didn't score, I thought he was helpful on the inside. So that's really encouraging. Let's talk about the first half of this game. We've already talked about it a good bit in some of the statistical anomalies versus what these two teams had done season long. But guess what? Carolina, for the first time all season, when playing a high major opponent, literally never trailed in the first half of this game. In fact, they never trailed at any point in this game. How about that for a new change of pace? And when you look at it, Carolina not only did not trail tonight and never trailed by more than 3 in the first half at Notre Dame, they've actually led by double digits in both of those. My, how the tables have turned. Or as Michael Scott once said on The Office, I think it was Michael Scott, or maybe it was Andy Bernard. I don't know how the turntables have, and then he couldn't find it. Love it. What a great show. But while Carolina had that lead against Notre Dame, lost it, obviously, boy, this is what I need to see the rest of the season from Carolina. Really, really encouraging start there. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get out and get to one more ad read, and then I want to get to your comments. Lots of comments going on over there, so I'm sure we've got some great questions, great observations, maybe things that I have not hit on or noticed yet myself. So we'll do all that in just a second. Right after I tell you about our very good friends at FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are also going to not include my Atlanta Falcons. All right, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Man, the FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. Go ahead and check out the line for Carolina at NC State on Saturday. Man, got to build on what the Tar Heels have done these last 2 games. Keep doing it. Go get a win over the Wolfpack. Got to pay them back for that ACC tournament final last year. I'm still bitter about that. Check it all out at FanDuel.com today. Get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Okay, comments. Let's get to what you guys are looking at, man. A lot of, I hope RJ is okay. Folks, I am right there with you. Nintendo, what's up, Nintendo? Great to see you. It says the guys really needed a win like this. Agreed. Coach Davis said that after the Notre Dame game, and I think he would say it even more resoundingly after this one, because again, the most complete win since the win over Memphis. That didn't count because it was an exhibition. But here's the thing: 2 complete halves, the Nintendo said, and shots falling. Say it with me all together. The Roy Williams mantra: everything looks better when the ball goes in the basket. And that's what happened tonight, where Carolina, as we've already said, was 11 of 22 from 3, 50%. And actually they shot worse from 2, which gave them a total of 47.4%, excuse me. But for the game, Carolina 1.139 points per possession. They, let's see. Elliot Cadeau shot 50% from the field. RJ Davis was over 50%. Drake Powell was just 1 shot under it, 6 for 13. Same for Ian Jackson, 5 of 11. Van Allen Lubin, over 50%. Jalen Withers, 50%. So the Lubin-Withers combo was 5 of 8. Come on, guys. That's it, man. It doesn't have to be 10 for 15. Just 5 of 8 from Withers and Lubin is perfect. I love that. So 14 combined points, 5 combined rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 2 assists from those guys, and 3 combined turnovers. So yes, more of that. I love it. Shots are falling, and it's good. Oh, one more from the Nintendo really quick here. RJ is a tough little nut. We're getting another Roy Williams-ism in here. And he says, SMU may have just awakened a masked RJ Davis. Yes. Remember that Illinois team that was number 1, or at least had a 1 seed? I don't remember if they were number 1 in the nation, with Ayo Dosunmu, and he had that like black falcon mask. Whoo! I want to see RJ roll out in Raleigh with that on NC State. And he says the conference should be terrified. Legitimately, though, when you think about the difference, think about if Carolina had lost at Notre Dame. They would be 1-2. This would make them 2-2. But this was Carolina's first ACC win where it's like, yes, that's a good solid win. Because think about the other two, Georgia Tech and Notre Dame. I didn't leave either of those wins thinking, oh boy, I'm encouraged. This one, 100%. And 3-1, you get a little breathing room for that one loss. Maybe you can add to it Saturday at Raleigh, and then things get rolling. This is what we're looking for. Derek Tyson, what's up? He says that's the type of defense I envisioned before the season started. Scrappy and getting steals and running. Yes, again, I said it on today's show. Let me say it again. This kind of mantra that I've adopted. An unconventional roster means that you have to play unconventionally. And that's what this team did in this game. Guys have to, I saw people fronting the post because Carolina doesn't have the size to match up with what SMU was bringing, but they found ways to do it. They converged. They were quick. I know we're talking defense, but even offense, I thought the ball didn't stick quite as much tonight as it has at other times. By the way, speaking of Derek getting in here, Derek Tyson, we did not see Cade Tyson in this game. Obviously, I haven't seen Coach Davis's press conference yet to hear if he said anything about like if that was a coach's decision DNP or if he was hurt or what was going on, but also no Ty Claude for the second game in a row, if I'm thinking correctly. I don't believe he stepped on the court at Notre Dame, but yet again, James Brown did. James Brown, 2 minutes. He played 3 minutes against Notre Dame. I think that's just right about the right thing. Somebody and I can't think of who it was. Forgive me if it's you and you're listening. We're talking about James Brown earlier today, and I was saying like 2 to 3 minutes is what I'm really looking for from James Brown every first half of the game. And I think that's good. He was trying, like he was doing his darndest to hold off Yagidoglu there in the post. And that's what you needed to do, like come in and bother him. And I thought that he was able to do that. Man, great stuff. Let's see if we can find a few questions here to take. Nintendo going against me here. I like it. Connor. Way to go. I feel like you have to keep rolling with this starting lineup. I'm fine with Seth's contributions coming off the bench so long as he still plays a ton. And again, tonight, he was the fourth leading minutes getter in his first game back. It's kind of like Marcus Burton against Carolina on Saturday. So there is that. We'll see. I think probably not at NC State. I don't think that will be the telling moment. What is the next game after NC State? It is Cal next Wednesday at home and then Stanford next Saturday at home. If by the time that Stanford game is over next Saturday, if we're still seeing Seth Trimble come off the bench, I think that is not any longer about him getting healthy. I think that is we're sticking with this starting five. Seth's coming off the bench. And again, as many of you were saying in the chat, it's less about starting and more about total minutes and closing and who's getting the key critical moments for the team. So we'll see what happens with that. Oh, thank you. Melinda Dolphin is here in the chat and says Jones, as in Jones Angel, said RJ reports that he is fine, no swelling or anything. Thank you, Melinda, for that report. We appreciate you. Shouts your way, even if you are a dolphin and not a porpoise. And yes, I did make that pun on porpoise. I'm a dad. It's late at night. I apologize for my absurdity. All right, guys. So great stuff there. Look, here we go. I've still got to record tomorrow's full show, so I'm going to do that. I will scroll through the rest of the comments and see if there's any other great stuff from you guys that we want to get to on tomorrow's show to wrap that up. Then on Thursday's show, Coach Rob is going to join me to unpack this, what things that he observed and what led to it. His team was actually playing tonight as well. Milligan, by the way, on the road, got a nice road win in conference play. Congrats, Coach Rob. But we'll join together on Thursday's show to kind of wrap this up. Look ahead to NC State, a little bit there from him. And I'd like to hear from him what he'd like to see now with the lineup as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. If you haven't subscribed, do it right now, because we're trying to get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers in 3 years. We got about just shy of 2 months to get there, and we need your help. I'm asking you, if you haven't subscribed to the show, do it right now. Thank you so much. Folks, if you haven't joined the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, man, that's a great place to be with hundreds and hundreds of Tar Heels fans hanging out, talking, having great conversations. It's always so much fun. It's a place that we protect. We will not allow it to be vulgar or profane or things like that. We want kids to be able to hang out in there if they love the Tar Heels. So anyway, Locked On Tar Heels Discord, free to join. The links in the show notes. If you want to go even deeper and have just like a personal one-on-one direct connection to me through texting, be able to see all my charts and stats and data and things like that, join the Locked On Tar Heels Insiders. 2-week free trial to check it out, and then just $5 a month after that. A great way to help support the show and allow us to keep doing all the things we're doing. I appreciate all of you being here on a late night. It's after midnight on the East Coast. That's why I got to get out of here, because I still got to record tomorrow's show and all of that. So thank you so much. We'll do this again Saturday after the game, but obviously we got shows coming up Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So all sorts of great content coming your way. It's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll be back again together tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for that as well. But until then, peace.